We opened this criminal case back in 2014, when Russia invaded Donbass and annexed Crimea. It concerns the recruitment, financing, training and arming of mercenaries sent by Russian Federation to fight against Ukraine. We documented every stage, from recruitment centers to combat operations. We identified Russian private military companies operating under the control of the Russian Ministry of Defense. Wagner, Redut, Ahmad, Patriot and Sarwolves are just a part of the list that we have documented. In total, there are 37 Russian private military companies, 25 of which participated in the war against Ukraine.
As of today, investigators of the main investigative department, in cooperation with officers of the strategic investigation, criminal investigation, criminal analysis and international police cooperation departments of the national police, have already identified 654 individuals. These are citizens of Ukraine who during martial law switched sides and fought as part of Wagner and Redut. Today more than 70 searches are simultaneously taking place in the territory of Ukraine and Moldova, at the places of residence of those who have housing, close persons or relatives in Ukraine. We are collecting every little thing, documents, video recording, telephone data, eyewitness testimonies, because every detail is evidence that will help prove guilt for war crimes.
The first 11 fighters of Russian private military companies have already been notified of suspicion of high treason. The 12th person has been declared suspected of mercenary activity. If they appear on the territory of Ukraine or any civilized state that recognized Russian private military companies as terrorist organizations, they will be immediately detained and extradited to Ukraine. For the crimes they have committed, they face life imprisonment with confiscation of property.
To interact with international partners, we use Europol and Interpol channels, exchanging data in real time. Under Europol's coordination, a virtual command post has been established, enabling the coordination of joint investigative actions across different countries. Our closest cooperation at the moment is with Moldovan law enforcement. A year ago, we created a joint investigation team within which 100 Moldovan citizens were identified who have fought in the ranks of private military companies since 2014. Last year, they detained 3 Wagner members who had fought in Ukraine, and this year, militants who participated in conflicts in Congo.
During the second phase of the operation, we transferred information about more than 280 foreign mercenaries who fought against Ukraine to law enforcement agencies in other countries, in particular Azerbaijan, Armenia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Moldova, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan. In these countries, mercenary activity is punishable by up to 15 years in prison and in some cases life imprisonment. Such crimes have universal jurisdiction. Mercenaries can be prosecuted in any country in the world.
We also analyze how the Russian Federation has created a recruitment network in more than 20 countries. Nationals of Central Asia, the Balkans and the South Caucasus are being recruited with the promises of money, amnesty or Russian citizenship. These are not separate cases. This is a systematic state program aimed at fomenting the war against Ukraine and destabilizing Europe. We warn partners. These persons can be used by Russia in hybrid operations, terrorist attacks and attempts to destabilize regions.
We work with the analytical systems data and databases of the national police. Each person involved is a profile, contacts, connections, coordinates. We identified networks of recruiters in Moscow, Rostov, Belgorod and in the occupied territories of Ukraine. They promised big payments, a release from prison, residence permits, Russian citizenship. Our data shows many of them returned to their countries after the war with combat experience and pose a potential threat to all of Europe.
We sent evidence of foreign nationals' participation in the war against Ukraine through Europol channels to the Analysis Project Core International Crimes, to the organization's member states, as well as to its operational and strategic partners. And this work is already producing results. On January the 4th, 2025, a citizen of Kazakhstan, a former Wagner fighter, was detained in the United States-Mexico border. In June of the same year, another Wagner militant who took part in the assaults of Soledar and Bakhmut was detained in Finland and subsequently placed in pretrial detention. The National Police of Ukraine, working through Europol, delivered key intelligence linking them to the Wagner terrorist organization.
Ukrainian police officers, under the procedural guidance of the Prosecutor General's Office and with the assistance of the main Directorate of Intelligence, carried out a colossal job.
We have already collected hundreds of volumes of evidence against war criminals, identified hundreds of war criminals and traitors to the state.
And we are doing everything possible to ensure that each of them is found and doesn't escape responsibility.
In any country in the world, because war and justice have no borders.